Greetings, friends. Jill Beverlin here, National Coordinator of Coaching for the ELCA. I'm blessed to be here with Pastor Jenny McClellan. Jenny serves as pastor in the Southeastern Synod of the ELCA near Atlanta, and she is one of our longtime coaches. We're here today to talk about the difference between formal and informal coaching as we see it happening in our denomination. And with that, Jenny, I'm going to hand it right over to you.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you for this invitation to share a little bit about my experience coaching. I have had very formal coaching agreements where we establish a covenant and talk about the frequency of our coaching and to reevaluate that at a certain time. Some of those coaching experiences have been around vocation and work, relationships, work-life balance. Very specific, where the client has identified how I can help them, and coaching has been very formal in that sense. But as a pastor, I've also had opportunities to be with people and use my coaching skills in an informal way. One such meeting happened just 2 weeks ago. I was visiting a woman who called our church, said that she wanted a Lutheran pastor at this assisted living. She had lived there for a month, and as soon as I walked in, she said, "Why have I not died?" And so I said, "Okay, tell me more about that. What's going on?" And she shared a little bit about her life story, how she has experienced a lot of loss in her life, and how she didn't know why she was still there. People have told her that God must have a purpose for you, but that was pretty abstract. So I asked her about what it was like living in the home where she was. I used those powerful questions and listened deeply as she was sharing her experience. And in listening, I heard that she had a gift of observation, and I invited her to reframe her story and what if she could listen to other fellow residents? I invited her to be a steward of stories, and her demeanor changed and she had a new outlook. I invited her to consider how she would want to live her life that God has given her, and given that back to her to determine and decide and make those choices. So by applying some of the coaching skills that I have used or that I have learned, I was able to help this woman change her mindsets of her living circumstance. Another one recently talked with a woman who had emergency surgery, and she recognized that she needs to make some life changes. And so I invited her to consider a coaching relationship, even just a one-time meeting where she can establish her goals and how she wants to live into the new lifestyles that she needs for her health, changing those ways. So I see these coaching skills coming into a lot of different areas in ministry and in conversations. Folks who are approaching retirement, what's next for you? What does that look like? Where's life going from now for now? So I'm glad that I've been trained as a coach to have the formal relationships and also be able to imagine creatively with people where God is calling them in this stage of their life.
Jenny, those are two very powerful questions, and I really appreciate you being able to put concrete examples to the distinctions between what it looks like to be coaching informally versus formally. I don't know if people realize that in any given year, we typically train about 100 coaches in level 1 coaching. And of those, we have seen that about 75% of them go on to only coach informally. And I think that somehow a narrative started to gain traction that kind of coaching didn't count. And so your stories are helping to dispel that myth and just showing the power of informal coaching is how we walk around every day. We walk with that coaching posture of deep listening, asking powerful questions. One time, Jenny, I don't know if you've ever heard this in one of the trainings that I've led, but I coached someone on an elevator between the first and the 23rd floor. And just asked, what was going on today, saw that this person was anxious, helped them name specifically what goal they had ahead of them and what were 2 or 3 steps that they could take to get there. And it just what you said about the individual in the care facility, how her demeanor changed once she felt empowered to take some positive steps. This individual too also straightened, smile came on the face. They walked out of that elevator ready to go. And so thank you so much, Jenny, for helping us really unpack that difference, but more importantly, make sure that we are hearing that all types of coaching can bring powerful results for the people that we journey with. And that in ELCA coaching ministry, we're all about helping people name themselves as beloved of God, gifted by God, and invited by God into God's work of loving and healing the world.
Yeah, and if I may also add, when I wear both hats, and I switch back and forth between the pastoral care counseling and then the coaching. And it's helpful to people I meet with to say, I've received training as a coach. As a coach, I believe that God has equipped you with what you need to go where you are going, to pursue your goals. And by naming that experience and to say that I have a coaching posture really instills a faith and a belief that they can do what God is calling them to do.
Oh, and especially in this time, especially in this chaotic, confusing, fear-filled time, coaching can step into that space and help people adopt that posture themselves of empowerment, and that, yes, they can take that next most faithful step and keep going, whatever the situation is that they're in.
And that's something that I love about coaching is I can take a step. I don't know where I'm going. Sometimes you don't have those goals established in the midst of this uncertainty, but I can take this step.
Exactly. And often that's all we need is to take that step and then a next one and a next one to break that inertia, to break out of that fear and confusion that often can shackle us.
Right.
Yeah. And Jenny, I just want to affirm that you are a shining example of how coaching is changing the world, one faith-filled conversation at a time. So thank you for serving in this capacity.
You're welcome. It's an honor.
Okay. And all of you who are hearing this, thank you for the good work that you're doing in the kingdom through coaching ministry. God bless.